right, so we're going like this. We count it down. We go 3, 2, 1. Here with Mike Lieder, and Mike was there on when we first started doing beer pong at Brownstone. You know, Jeff had the idea. We were running it. I was managing the night, and I think you came just to support. It was like a Tuesday night, right?
Yes, I always came out to support. It seemed like whenever you had a new endeavor, something else that you were trying new, a new place you went to, new place you DJ'd, or something like this where you started with Pong. I was like, I always got to be there. I always wanted to be there and
like
see
a million
what
fucking
it was.
things, a million things we had to do.
Yeah, and I remember the first night. I remember leading up to the first night, speaking with you and stuff like that. And you're like, "Oh, Long, you know," he said, "It's Pong, and we're gonna try Pong." And I'm like, "All right," you know, because I used to throw my birthday party every year, and at my birthday party we would play Pong all the time.
Right.
It was a thing.
And I remember, I remember when I brought this up to you, you were like, "Oh yeah, definitely play it." I'm like, "Mike, I never fucking played in my life. You got to show me how to play this game. I've never even played it."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I never played it."
And it's so crazy because like the beginning of it, it was literally from the bottom up, because it was one of those things like, all right, we're in the bar, let's grab the tables. And I'm talking about square wooden tables that were just like diagonally feng shuied through the middle of the restaurant.
Oh, you're talking
nice.
You're talking about the brownstone tables where we actually had I mean, in the beginning we just used those tables.
Together.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about those tables though. I like those tables had good bounce. Those were those things.
Much better than much better than the 6 foot we have now. Yeah. I forgot about that. How they had perfect. The tables, if you put them together, was exactly 6 foot. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it started.
Yeah,
and I remember it was me and Teddy. Remember Teddy came a little bit.
Right.
And we would be playing, and it just little by little. It didn't, you know. And it was one of those things that the more I think, I don't know if it was maybe Long you were speaking to, but like every time I came back to you, every time I had another conversation with you, you were more invested, more excited. Like, no, man, this is it. This is it.
Jeff had that really good following of friends, and they would come out, and then we would try to bring. Deep. Yeah, and we would try to bring some people out, and then, but it just, we would be playing Pong, but they were like playing for nothing, you know. There was no money, there was no pot. People were coming out to play for prizes or whatever. I don't even think like beer. I think sometimes we gave them glasses or.
So you were constantly brainstorming stuff.
I'm telling you right now, I just remember no money. I was done with Big Shots. I had just been working at Brownstone, and that's what they had brought me in as the GM. So we were trying to combat.
Right.
Yeah, we were trying to
for a while.
Yeah, so that's where I was literally managing the Tuesday. I wanted to go against the Beat the Clock because we had started that party, and we brought in Jeff and we brought in Pong, and that's how it got going. And then we weren't getting the numbers that we expected, and then you know, we took the budget from Jeff and we moved it over to have some kind of prize. You know, so, and then we saw a little bit of an uptick, you know, some more people were coming out, some more local kids were coming out because now there was a budget for some cash in there, but it just wasn't producing. And I think we shut it down for 3 weeks, and then we came back, and that's when I did the 10-week tournaments.
Well, there was one thing early on when you started giving prizes that I remember that, like, I think at first it was just like $100, just something to kind of give people a little incentive. But the thing was, you had no buy-in. And I feel like that was big because at that time, people were looking for places to play and tournaments and different things, but there was always a buy-in. But you were like, no buy-in. Come on in. We're going to play a little tournament. And the winner gets $100. As you learned and you expanded and you got better, these people who were already coming in having fun, you know, they stayed because they liked what you were doing. And you were taking input from these guys that, you know, you didn't know, but they had been playing in different tournaments. They had been places and seen things and been a part of stuff. And you took a little bit of everything and made something that these guys loved to come out to.
Yeah. Like you said, there's people coming over from Big Shots and other leagues, because once they saw that, they came over to check it out. And then we were like, you know, what do you like more about that league? And they would say, oh, you know, we hate it that we have to be there so long. Okay, make the games quicker. What do you like? You know, what do you like about that? Oh, well, I don't like the lean over the table. Okay, keep on the 6 foot table. That's what you're saying. We took all this input.
Little bits. Yep.
Yeah.
The one thing too that's like that you're saying that you know, again, like a guy on the outside looking in, because I never got into this with you. This wasn't one of the ventures that I ran down the road with you, but I was in and out a lot. You know, this is a majority of the stuff you were doing on like weeknights and stuff, right? So you're bringing like 60 guys into a place on like a boring ass Tuesday night in the winter or something like that.
Oh yeah,
That otherwise wouldn't be making any money.
I was still DJing. I was still DJing on the weekends. So I was bringing into places I was DJing, people that I knew, and I was like, hey man, you know, everybody was doing Monday Night Football. Nobody's had a fucking successful Monday Night Football in the history of fucking
first day of the work week.
Dude, it's literally on TV. You just got done blowing all your money on Sunday. I don't even know why people are like Monday Night Football. I mean, only way it's good if it's Jets or Giants, local shit, you know, or if there's
and
like
even
you know,
then,
Brett Favre's father dies. You know, you're gonna watch it then. You know, you want to be at a ball. You want something big. You know, I would talk to people like, hey, we're gonna do a Thirsty Thursday and hire this DJ and do this and do that, and it would always fizzle out. It would never be, you know, to get people to come out and dance and drink. But I was like, hey man, you know, these kids love beer pong. I'm like, let's do beer pong. And everyone's like, oh man, I don't. What kind of crowd is it gonna bring? I'm like, they're the same fucking kids that are here on Sunday for football. They're the same kids that are supporting your Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I'm like, what? Oh, because they've seen some movies where kids are like playing beer pong in college. They think it's like, you know. I'm like, oh, Jesus
and that's the
Christ.
thing is, and they get all nervous because in the movies it's depicted as the way it was originally. It was originally made as a drinking game. It was like, you know, you shoot it, and if they make it, you drink the beer. But now since it's translated over into bars and stuff, it's like they don't even do that. They use water. And I'll tell you, man, dude, at house parties here at my own place, at other places I go, nobody uses beer anymore. It's true. You got a beer in your hand. You just drink your drink and you play. There's no water in it. You were saying on your last one with Luong about how you're trying to get sponsorship from beer places and they don't even sponsor you. It's like it started with beer. There's no reason.
It promotes binge drinking. I'm like, okay, how the fuck can I put your fucking logo on a car and drive it around at 200 miles an hour? And that's okay. That doesn't promote drinking and driving, right?
All right.
I'm like, what? I really, honestly, you know, I'm like, do you understand NASCAR was built on bootlegging illegal liquor?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like it came from some healthy. Oh, we're gonna race, Johnny. It came from the, you know, like, but you're okay with that. Like, okay, this doesn't promote, you know, breaking the law, but beer pong, you know, Pong. With water.
And it's become such a thing, dude. It's become such a thing. Like tournaments and stuff. I know you had some of your guys went out to Vegas, right? Like they would do a huge tournament.
They go all the time.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, they're not really, like I said, they're not my guys. They hate when I say my guys.
Okay. Sure.
Anyhow.
You know Bob Menery? You know who Bob Menery is? He's the guy, like, if you ever see these, like, sports clips of, like, and this guy's running down the field and he got fucking decapitated. Like, how amazing would beer pong be, or pong, I should say,
God.
if Bob Menery was the guy who was, like, doing the play-by-play for it? I feel like it would just be, like, a whole thing. It would be so good. It would be so entertaining because pong is something people already love, and Bob Menery is hilarious with all the stuff that he puts out there with all of his clips. Find something absurd, though, like somebody falling on the table or something, and here's this guy, he's had one too many, and he goes over the
security.
Like,
That's what I'm talking about.
Dude,
I have 7 years of shit that I videotape. I have security camera video of people getting thrown through the fucking tables. I have security camera video of people wiping out
the table. Didn't somebody get chokeslammed through a table or something like that?
It just happened. It happened in the beginning of this year.
WWE, man.
And you know, it's funny because I get a call from the commissioner and be like, Gar, a couple guys.
We lost another one.
Yeah. Man down, Gar. Man down. You know, he'll be like, there's a couple guys at the bar and they got thrown through your table. You know, and immediately my reaction is like, motherfucker, like, you know, and then they'll show me the video of it. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is fucking awesome. I'm like, can you believe it? And look, and they run out so quick. They're so scared. And everybody's like, what do I do? Like, they're like, what just happened? It's so great. I mean, if anybody else does, I'm going to fucking break their fucking neck, you know? It's going to cost them $50, but whatever. It's usually people that don't play in the tournaments, and they just find an opportunity.
Random wrestling fans just hanging out at the bar. Let me tell you something about a wrestling fan, man. Every time they see a table that looks like one of your Pongking tables, they sit there and say to themselves, I could go through that.
Although you turned me on to wrestling, dude, I'm not going to lie. I enjoy wrestling. Not as much as I haven't been able to do much lately, but I rent the I rent the SummerSlam. What was the one that was just in January? The one that we went
the big one, the one we Royal Rumble, yeah.
I rented the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
exciting.
yeah, dude. It's funny how we went 2 years ago, and now Ronda Rousey's like not even. She's making.
She made her debut at that.
And then
that was Royal Rumble 2018, and then the following year at WrestleMania 35, 2019, was actually her last match. So it's funny because I was there with you guys for her debut, and then I was also there. I went when she was done.
Remember that?
She's going to make a baby or something.
Yo, bro, remember that? We fucking ended the night. We're trashed. Your bachelor party.
Oh man,
dude, we are trashed.
Hey,
and we go. We want to go down there and take a picture. We want to go down to the ring and take a picture. Remember?
And I think you were kind of expecting me to be like, yeah, maybe whatever. And I go, come on, let's go. Because every wrestling show, no matter where I am in the arena, by the end of the night, it gets chaotic and people start leaving. So you can get down ringside. So I go, come on, let's go. And we just
but I think I feel like you told me that. I feel like you told me that. And I think you've said you've been down there before, maybe. I don't know if have you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's what
I know we were in the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. I know that arena very well. The ins and outs of like where you can jump over the rails and stuff. And we got.
You said that. You said the security guys don't look. You could go right down and jump over. I swear. And I was like, let's go. And you were like, go. And I was like, all right, I want to meet Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, and I got to repost the video. And to give anybody just an idea, it's like the show was over and the big ramp that the wrestlers come out up at the top. It was the lights were up, they were cleaning everything up. But Ronda Rousey was up here, and like ESPN and all the news people were interviewing her right up on top. But the thing that got me the best at this whole thing, man, is because you were hammered, and we're down there, and I had videos, and it was hard to get the videos because people were pushing because they're trying to get close. And on my video, all you hear is, Ronda, 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 high five, Ronda. And then I barely get you getting a high five from Ronda. And you go, yes, Ronda, Ronda, fucking awesome. You freaked out.
I'm working on it.
Ronda, high five, Ronda. Yes.
Pretty soon, guys. Let's go.
Yes, Ronda, you're the best.
Well, I don't think that was necessary.
We love Ronda.
Funny.
Because you know what I meant before that, she was up there and we were fucking screaming. Like we were not soft. Everybody was at the rail, like, and I remember I come down, Ronda, come here, Ronda, come here, because I'm used to that from hockey games.
And she literally ran over from the press that she was doing.
Yeah, she was like, she has to do it. Is it okay?
She broke away.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, go on. And she came. I mean, she loved the fans. But I go to a lot of hockey. I read your season tickets for years. And my cousin Mickey, we call him the puck guy, because we would always go to the opposing team side for the warm up. And we all knew their names from playing like video games. We're like, hey, Rob, give us a puck. Come on, Hey, Tony, give us a puck, But you're allowed to scream, and you put yourself like where the boards go down. If you send like 4 rows up, the boards are equal with your eyes, so they can throw you the puck over the board. It's not hard. So they can get it to you. You're standing right next to the board. They got to come up and over. It's a pain in the ass. We used to yell at the players, and they would throw us pucks, and we would get like 3 or 4. My cousin always like picked out a little kid. You always see like a little kid there, and it's like, can I get a puck? He's like, I got you. He's like, hey, for a little guy. My cousin Mickey. He's like, hey, give one to the little guy, right? And he always did the same thing. They threw the puck up, turned to the little kid, and goes, hey, next one's yours, okay, pal? So we went to the show, and we see Ronda. I know you can scream. As long as you're not vulgar, as long as you're not, nasty or whatever.
That's what it is all night.
Yeah, and we were like, I was like, Ronda!
So much fun.
Ronda, come here. And I think you and Neem jumped in. Ronda.
Yeah.
And she broke away. She came over. But then it was a
so
crush.
Much fun. It's so much fun because, people give wrestling such a bad rap because they think it's stupid and corny and stuff like that. But it's so much fun when you bring somebody who's not that familiar with it and they have a fucking blast. Because you're sitting there and I'm like, that's why I love it, pal. Get it now? Because like
I enjoyed the production. The production work of it, the whole, it's like coordinating a play, but with a light show, a concert, pyrotechnics,
stuntmen.
And the way they use the show with music and like, when they're going 3, 2, 1, and they pause.
And the music plays.
Yeah. Who that is? It's like a batter walking up the home plate when they play his like, now batting, and they whatever they in New York, and they walk up to the plate, and they have that. It felt like that. Like each one has their own private little song.
There's a lot of baseball players too who have likened it because they're fans of wrestling, and they say it's like the closest I'll ever be to being a professional wrestler. Have my own theme music when I walk out to the plate. Everybody wants their own theme music, man.
I've always thought about how great would it be if you could have like a main stage, like, you know, and then the two teams come up, but they like, oh, in the blue corner we got coming up right now, it is, you know, Vicious and Delicious. You know, our song is like, you know, and then this corner is you know, Crack House Wednesdays, you know, their song, you know, like, and they come to the main stage, you have lights like woo woo, like I always
you can add a spectacle to anything. Man.
That's
anything. And if you did that with Pong, it really would make it like, it would give it another layer that people would be like, have you seen this Pongkings? Like, they have like entrances and they come up. Wait, what? Yeah, like now wrestling.
It's like people talking about cornhole. Like people talk about cornhole on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, did you see cornhole on ESPN? And I was like, like, oh, geez, you could make a spectacle out of anything. But I really believe like Pong, it has that element, and then even behind the scenes with a lot of the green screen, like that drama. So it's very much reality driven, where you have liquor, you have personalities, and then you have a sport on top of it where people are competitive. You know, so you have all these interconnections of the social environment. Then you throw in the alcohol, which makes you do stupid shit, and then you put a competitive nature behind it. It sounds like an MTV show. 100%. But nobody's touched on it yet, and I think the moment that somebody realizes the scope of this thing is the moment that, you know, it's gonna take off. I hope it's me. You know, but somewhere it's gonna. It's just the right person has to be in the right place, and it's gonna take off. Like when we were talking about in 2004 about live streaming from the club. You know.
I got this.
But what I'm trying to say is, it's gonna take off. We said it was, right?
Look it was like it was 2008, 2009 maybe, and we'd go in there and you would broadcast live from the DJ booth because we were at Perle and Perle had the VIP section. So we're like, let's set it up. Let's get a camera on the VIP section, and I'd host it. And
that was one of the fine bouncers here at Perle, storing his jacket, which goes to show you how many people are in the house tonight. It is packed. The VIP is packed. The floor is packed. It's crazy in here tonight.
The point is, you would say to me, you'd be like, dude, I'm telling you, there's going to be a time where eventually we're going to have our phones, and you're going to be able to look on your phone, and people are going to be live they're going to be like, oh, we're at this club. It's so crazy. And it's, you know, whatever, you know. And, you know, that happened. Now, obviously, the club scene has changed a bit. It's not quite as popular as it once was. But wouldn't you know, the technology is exactly that. Like, if I wanted to see where the best Pong tournament was right now, and they're going live from Brownstone because there's like, there's a $5,000 tournament. We got to get over there. People pop on their phone. They shoot on over. It's like exactly what you said it was going to be. As far as the way you can pop on.
And think of this full circle. Now I'm running tournaments from my house online with everybody else on their phone videotaping. So it's like I went from one guy, and we were using Ustream. And at that time, it was just a chat. So you had to be a member. And we had all those people. We had 100 people on there, Mike. We had 100 people. And then this is in, like we said, I thought it was 04. It might be 08. I believe you more than I believe. And we would have 100 people, but it would be people in Europe that were getting out of the clubs, and people in the West Coast getting ready to go to the club. And we would be live. The best part about it was the infrared camera. You know, I have it. I have the gear.
You don't have all that footage anymore, do you?
100%.
Oh, jeez.
I have it all. I have saved everything. I just got to go through my hard drive and find it. But
oh my God.
100%. I have it all. You know, and I think some of it might be on YouTube.
See, you know what the funny thing is, though, is like you add the aspect of what we did with what I think we called like nightlife TV. If you were to take that aspect and plug that in with look at everything's live stream nowadays.
Live.
So if you were just like I hosted that, if you got somebody to host a Pongkings thing, like when live. God willing, we can get back. Like, we're here live at the Pongkings tournament tonight here in Brownstone, and we're touching New Jersey, and we got this going on. We got this team playing this team. It's like almost like they could have the freaking play-by-play. Like,
how about this? Almost now you just making me think. It's almost like they got rid of the cops live, right? Live
Mhm.
PD, they got rid of it.
Yeah, all that
But
stuff. Yeah.
It's doing that, but with Pong. So you're doing live cops, but instead of looking for bad guys, everybody's live watching a live tournament. It's funny to think about those live streaming events that we did and how it's played into Pong now, and how these new ideas where we're saying, hey man, if somebody would just get on board and with these things, do like a reality show, it's going to be something. And then somebody's going to do it, and they're going to be like, fuck.
Okay, did you ever see that movie back in the 80s with Sylvester Stallone called Over the Top? It was like he was like a trucker, but he like arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So you remember when they're like leading up to the end and everything like that? They're showing these interviews with the guys about like, he was like, oh, just like Stallone's like, I just want to win this truck. For me, it's about the truck, all about the truck kind of thing. Like, dude, you could totally like produce an entire thing for a night at the bar. You just don't go live. You pre-record it. And then you do interviews with the teams, maybe before, maybe once they're all, maybe one after once they're all hammered. So it's like a
Mike.
Like,
how do they do it?
Like,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but how do they do it? How do they do it on MTV? MTV, they set up a green room, right?
Right.
So you go in there, and I think you hit a button, and you whatever you want to say. If somebody pisses you off, you go, let me tell you something about this bitch. Like, they get you right in the moment. They're like, when you got something to say, come here, you know?
Yeah.
And you're always taught, never say anything in anger, because you're going to say something you're going to regret. But meanwhile, MTV's like, here's the apple. Eat it. Eat it, Eve. Have a bite, Eve. You know, like, boom, let me tell you something about this. Right? So we set up a green room along the same lines where these people could come in, like, if they check in.
His elbow was way over the table.
Yeah. Like, you're going to see everything. But as it progresses, we're like, let me tell you something about this game. This motherfucker he crossed the table and he came at me, and the other guy's going to come in. Let me tell you something. I'm going to kick that motherfucker's ass. You know, like, 100%.
One of the crazy things about you know, the whole journey of Pongkings, so to speak, was every time I came in, something was new, something had grown, something was different, right? And one of the things that I learned as I got into, at one point, I'll never forget, this is when I really knew it was starting to pick up. I met two guys, I don't know if they still come and play with you, Life and Marcus, I believe. They came in, and they were playing, and I was watching these guys play, and here's what got me. They had a fucking method. They had a plan, and it just threw me off because I was like, these fuckers are here to play. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I leave and it's like, whatever. I come back and all of a sudden it's like, these dudes are serious. And every time, leave, come back. Now you got, like, you went from having 1-3 Olives table and a bunch of the Brownstone tables. So all of a sudden there's like 7 Pongking tables lined up. And I'm like, what? It's like in, out, in, out. And so the progression is more and more and more and more. And it's just insane how it grew like that. Because it turned from, like, I don't know, let's try this and see if it works, to you're walking in the door and it's lined up all the way down the bar, and it's like with the marketing, which is great because you have and that's the other thing is when you market and then you promote online, everything like that, you know, there's table numbers, but what do? You pick up the number one, you have them hold the number one because they're the winner of the night, you have them hold the money up, you put it on their promotional on the page, people go on there and they see it and they go, oh shit, we gotta go play some Pongkings. Like, these guys are making money all over the place. Yeah, just like what it started as to what it has already become. It's been a hell of a ride, and I haven't even been there right there with you, but I can still see it from the outside looking at Neems.
Yes.
And then one day, Neems like, I want to do something with a bar. I was like, talk to Gary. And then he reached out to you, and one thing led to another. And then we ended up shooting an episode, promoting Pongkings within the episode, literally playing Pong in the episode.
What was the name of that episode? What was the name of that episode? Do you remember?
Oh, that one was...
I think that was one...
I think that was Friend Zoned.
It was definitely Friend Zoned. And that was a big deal because you guys did that on a big screen. You had a big, he made a big production out of that.
But the thing about Neems Themes is that every episode is just a different theme. So it doesn't tie in from one episode to the next. So like whatever Johnny's story at the beginning of this episode, you're going to find it out. The full circle will come by the end of the episode. There's no crossover to the next one. So it was a standalone short film. Big Apple Film Festival. We did it there. And we've screened it all over the place because it became one of our most popular episodes. So it's a fun episode. Like that's probably one of my two favorite episodes are that one, and it's called Friend Zoned, Neems Themes Friend Zoned, and then How I Cheated My Girl on Her Birthday and Almost Got Away with It. Another really good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I remember that one. So there was another episode where you had Pongkings in. What was that one?
Well, I think it was
that was when you had the famous last line.
SMD. Maybe go back to my place and you can suck my dick.
Hey, you got to do that. See, you got to get paid for that, Mike. People, no royalties on this. we actually on Zoom, and after we got done with the tournament, we screened it. We put it on Zoom because we were trying to tell people how I was like, yo, Pongkings is on this short film, and we put it on and we watched it, and then you come up with that line like, oh shit, wait, rewind it, bring it back, Aaron, bring it back. I'm like, yeah, dude. And that's
that
it.
was that one's how not to date in the Me Too era.
Yes. Yeah. So you guys had put us in those 2 episodes, and like I said, the one episode was physically you guys playing, and the thing I hated about that episode, dude, was at the very end, after you guys got done with your back and forth, he fucking bounced. I'm like, no. I mean, you could bounce in Pong, but it was 1v1. You can't bounce 1v1. I was like,
you know what? And I remember I actually just watched that episode recently.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it, and not only did he bounce it, but like it looked like he didn't even try. It just kind of like, dude. And I was like,
no, I'm just fucking with you. The episode was great, but whenever I see it, like me being technical,
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, you nitpick, you nitpick at the things you know. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, whatever. But and then the other episode, I mean, you guys like shouted me out like 18 fucking times. My friend Gary from Pongkings, love your Pong.
The best Pong in New Jersey.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ. So awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, it's
awesome. Really cool too. Like it's just like, it's Web Series is the small time of filmmaking and everything. It's what creators do to create, because if they had to wait and give their idea to this person and this person, this stuff would never get made. So right. Web Series is a community of people who just said, screw it, I'm going to make it myself. So when you have creators who are struggling, so they start doing that. And then you have actors who are struggling, so they get into that. Now you have a community of people who are making things happen. So to be the struggling actor, working with the struggling creator, sitting there, working and doing an episode that is promoting, the small business. It was so cool. I remember being on set wearing.
It's very Adam Sandler-esque. Adam Sandler always has the same like 5 guys in all his fucking movies. Like you want to talk about keeping your crew together. That guy keeps his crew together for everything.
For sure. Make sure he's making sure his friends are eating too.
Yeah.
Sure, man.
So it kind of has that feel to it where you guys we're all friends, and I introduce you to Neem, and then you guys bring me into the episode and help me out, and and then Neem will show up at one of my events and he'll be videotaping it for me, and then I'll go DJ the NJ Web Fest, and
man.
No Web Fest this year, right? No Web Fest, huh?
Yeah, he just put out, and he had been talking. He and I had been talking, and Tom, one of the other people,
is that the Raincoat guy? Is that the Raincoat guy?
Yeah. One of the other board members. He had been in contact with us, and Neem is the kind of guy who it's like, we're gonna do it big, we're gonna do it right. We're not gonna do it half-assed. We're not gonna do it with so many people sitting 60, whatever. He's like, plus the creators, you have to understand, in the Web Series community, the Web festivals rather, that's our moment. We get to go, we're nominated for awards, we can dress up and wear suits and go on red carpets and the whole thing. It's like, it's the red carpet, but not as you see on TV, but very much like you see on TV, and it's just like, here we are in a spot in New Jersey where there's a lot of people who know what's going on, but some people don't have any clue. But at the same time, it is a gala, it is huge, and he didn't want to take anything away from that. He didn't want to take the thing and just make it good enough because we can. And we felt that we owe it to all the creators who've been busting their ass to give them more time. So we moved it from this September to next September, and we extended the deadline, the final deadline, all the way to next year, because you have to factor in things like, okay, if you extend it, he was originally going to extend it to October, but then he's like, I can't do that, because if there are people who've been impacted by this, they don't have the money for the production and they haven't made their thing yet. It costs money to submit to web festivals as well. So you need little bits of money for everything that you're going to do. So pushed it back all the way. The deadline is extended all the way till next April, the final deadline. And, hopefully it'll make for a huge third festival in 2021.
Let's do it on a boat, man.
That'd be so awesome. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. We'll do it on a fucking boat. let me ask you something.
Mhm.
Instead of doing, and we're gonna probably wrap after this. I'm getting stupid. All right, so instead of doing a web fest, why don't you just have like a big web party? So you're kind of having a web fest without any awards or anything. You just don't get together one night, just drinking the fuck, and just, you know how much good shit would probably come out of that? We'd have a DJ the whole time. You know, you make me want to shout. Confetti guns. We'll hire a donkey, some midgets.
DJ at the New Jersey Web Fest.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. We'll hire a donkey, get a donkey on a boat with midgets, dude. And we'll just hand out fake awards. We'll hand out like chocolate awards. Everybody gets to eat them. So yeah, I had to have you on here today, Mike. It was you were there from when we first started, and I love the fact that you brought up how you popped in. It kept on growing, and it was able to bring me back to like how much, you know, like I take for granted what we have today. Not take for granted, but like I'm like, this is the way we run it, but I forget this is not the way we used to run it.
Yeah.
And how we created it. So it was
really
awesome. And I appreciate you jarring my memory here. And we're gonna put all your links and stuff in the comment section. So we'll put
we should link the episodes that we spoke about. Put the bit.lys on there so they can go directly to those shows and check out those episodes where we talk about.
You're gonna have to help me on that because I'm not there.
Yeah, I can send them to you. I'll send you the links.
Perfect. All right, so we'll do that. But Mike, I appreciate it, man. You enjoy the rest of your week, and good luck with the wife and the baby there, man. Coming soon. Dad to be. Next time we see you, have your little bambino.
I'll be like this.
Nah, you'll be okay. And on that note,
that's an omen. Please leave that in.
We'll see you later, Mike. All right, Mike, I love you. Thanks, bro.